one topic like ICM administration, ICM monitoring, right? ICM. So ICM means Internet Communication Manager. ICM means Internet Communication Manager here. The transaction code for ICM is SMICM. SMICM. So what is the use of the SMICM here? So this SMICM transaction code is for, so transaction is code for a monitor and administration of the your ICM process. Normally ICM, we can send and we can receive the request to within the SAP system, and outside of the SAP system we can send it. It kind of browser based request. Browser based request will be handled by the your ICM process. So in SMICM transaction code, there we can monitor the how the ICM is working, and all kind of work we can perform it in the SMICM here, right? ICM, Internet Communication Manager. So which will receive or which will send the browser based request. Suppose some customers, so suppose everyone will not only use the SAP logon pad and everything. Some people they may use the browser. Some people they may use the browser based browser to open your SAP system and everything. That time, so this ICM will help to take the user browser based request and forward to the, so this will handle the browser based request SMICM here. So in the ICM, so in the SMICM here, the port should be active always. The port should be active here. HTTPS ports, it should be active here in the SMICM. This port should be active here. Then only it will handle the browser based request here, and then only it will handle the all the browser based request and everything here. SMICM here, right? You see here. So here we have the ports are active. We have already the ports are configured, HTTP port and HTTPS, which means suppose normally, so when we log into the system, when we are logging into the system, we will use suppose like HTTP:/s, right? So normally we will use the browser based request. Suppose like irctc.co.com. This is the browser, internet browser based request, right? Internet based request. This time ICM will take care of the, in the SAP side, ICM will take care of this one. How we are getting the, suppose like IRCTC. This is purely running on the SAP, right? How it is taking the request, same kind of here, same kind of functionality will be taken by so your SAP also. Suppose your host name is like, suppose our SAP host name is like this one, right? SAP host name is like then port number. If you are using the HTTPS, then HTTPS port number. So HTTPS port number should be enabled here. HTTP port number should be active here, right? So if you are using the HTTP port number should be active here. So port should be active here. The port should be active here. Then only we can use the request here. Then only we can use the request here. See here, now this is working here. This is pointing to the different site here. This is your HTTPS colon, then it is pointing to the, your SAP Windows 1. This is pointing to the your SAP system. So sir, we are getting the service not reached means, and after that you have not used any service here. After that you have not used it means it is your ICM is handling the browser based request. After that, where it should go? Then service activation. Suppose you are just only opening the irctc co.in. After that, you see immediately it is routing to the NGET, train set, something like that. It is going. These are the sub services. That's we will call it as the services. This we will call it as the services, sub services. So this is the main host name. So here, sir, where is the port number means your port number is hidden. Normally, so our cases, this is the default port number. It will be hidden. It will be hidden here. So it won't show. Why? Because in the public level, the ports won't show. Why? Because these are the public sites. The ports, it won't show in the other pages here. The ports, it won't show here. So that's why, so we have, this concept here. We have this concept. So you don't need to use ports in the, when you are using the public sites. So, but when you are using the private sites, maybe my server sites, that time definitely you need to use the port number. Port number must and should here. Port number, we have to use it here. Then, so this port number should be active. Otherwise, you cannot connect to the, this port number should be active here. So you cannot connect to the my SAP system here. So same as like, so let's see in the ECQ. Okay, ECQ also, let's say if I go to the SMICM here, in the ECQ also, in the SMICM, in the ECQ also, if you go to and services here, the ports are 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, which means there are no ports are configured here. There are no ports are configured. Why? Because it's a new system. So the ports are not configured here. To configure the ports, either temporary, you can add the port here. Otherwise, just go to the your profiles. In the profiles, there is a parameters. Then there we can change the parameters there. So we can change the instance. There we can change the profile parameters and all those things. We can change it here. So here also ICM related parameters are there. The ICM related parameters there. So we can define the ports. Then that will be permanent here. So here also we can change the ports here. The ports. So that time the port will be become active status here. The port will be created here. So suppose like example, if I go here also we can go click on create. Just click on the create button. Then I can create the port number here. So 8000. You don't want to 8000 here. You want to so 8000 or different port number. Then we can try this one here. Okay, just click on the OK button here. But here you see these are the temporary only. When you restart the ICM, this port will gone. This port will gone. See here the port is defined here. The port is defined here. Same as like I can define the HTTPS also. HTTPS also I can define the port numbers here. HTTPS also I can define the port number here. HTTPS also I can define the port numbers here. So HTTPS. Some people they want to use the HTTPS. Some people they want to use the HTTP. That time this port should be enabled. This port should be enabled here. See here HTTPS ports are enabled here. Now in the system, if you want to, so okay, you are able to connect through these ports. Then after that, what is the functionality you are going to use it? What is the functionality you are going to use it? Which means which service you are going to use it. So in this case, so we can go to the SICF. SICF is the transaction code for the services activation, and deactivation. Services activation and deactivation can be performed. The services activation and deactivation can be performed here. The service activation, deactivation can be performed here. The service activation and deactivation can be performed here, right? The service activation, deactivation can be performed. So here in this case here. So here the services activation and deactivation can be performed here. So if you go to the SICF transaction code here, so SICF transaction code, SICF, right? If I go to the SICF transaction code here you will see the number of services here. So in which functionality you want to use as a browser level, which functionality? So you want to use the VM workspace for the Java applications. So what you want to use it here? What you want to use it for the SAP application? You want to use the BW for BW analytics for the applications, BEX for this one, as a INA for this one. Which one you want to use? There are a number of applications are available here within this one. You want to use the leave functionality. You want to uploading the notes functionality, HRMS. So just click on the activate. You have to, that related service should be activated here. The service should be, we have to activate it here. We want to use this functionality. You need to activate that functionality. Then see here, the URL is getting opened here. When you click on the open button, see here, this is opening here. This is opening in the system here. This is opening in the system. This is opening in the system here, right? So here I can log in through browser. I can log into the SAP system, then we can do something here. We can load something here, right? As per the here, right? So like that, whatever the service you want to use it here, that related service should be open here. That related service should be open. If you are not sure what is that, then just you can type here, search it here in the service name, click on the OK button. Then, so this is the web GUI service, one of the web GUI service, which means this URL, if you remember this URL, you no need SAP logon pad. You no need SAP logon pad. You no need SAP logon pad. Just in the browser level, you will get the SAP, you will get it out. Then just you can use the, so user, then password, then you can use the this as browser based URL. Just you can remember this URL, then you can log into the SAP, you can do the practice. So you no need to log into the SAP logon pad and do everything. So everything you can monitor from everything, you can do it from the everything, you can do it from the browser based also, which means here the main URL is, this is the main URL, right? This is the main your server name and port number. Where is this port number? SMICM, it is available. Then after that, these are the sub services. These all are the sub services here. These all are the sub services here. So the services are active in SICF. That is the reason you are able to pull the data. The services are active here. So that is the reason you are able to grab the data from here. You are able to grab the data here. Okay. So here this way also we can use our services. This way also we can use our SAP system. Not only connecting through SAP logon pad and opening from the logon pad working here. So just remember this URL. So that it will be, remember this URL, you can connect from the your mobile device also. So it will be opened. So this is the internal server. When you are giving to the public, in the network side, the network team, they will make it like some simple naming convention. Suppose like when you open the IRCTC, something like that.com, how it is the Indian naming convention, same as like we can pull our own naming convention. Then after that, the sub service, then after that sub service, how it is opening. When you go to the TCS SAP server, when you go to the TCP SAP server, TCS which is supporting, then when you ask the TCS, then they will go to this path in SICF. They will go to this path and it will be enabled. This path will be enabled for them. This is the service NZ. After that, the train set, this is enabled for them. So, but if I use now, it won't work. Why? Because the service is not exist in our side. This is exist in the TCS side. So it won't work on our server here. But if you are in the TCS server, if you are supporting, if you go to the SICF transaction code, then here NZ, then you can find out what is the NZ and try and set the service here. If the service is working, the people will log in and they book the tickets and everything here. If the service is not working, then they cannot use this one. Suppose ICM is down. In this case, our ICM is down. What will happen here? Suppose example, if you see here, right, I will go to the SMICM. Here in the SMICM, I can stop the ICM. You can see the services. The main thing is the services here, right? The services are active here. So what I can do here, I will stop the ICM here. Go to the administration, right? Here, exit soft or hard shutdown. Shutdown means you are stopping the service here. Then if you use this one, if you use this SAP, if you refresh it, now we will get the site cannot be reached. Right? Normally, sometimes when we open some of the sites, right? Some of the URLs or sometimes we may get the 500 internal server error, or the site cannot be reached. Something like that, we may get the errors, right? Which means some issues with their backend server, That's why you are facing this issue. So now I restarted the ICM. Just when you click on the refresh button, again, see here, my functionality is working here. Here, who took your request? Who took your browser-based request here? Here in the SMICM, ICM took your request here. Here we can monitor as part of our day-to-day activity. Here we can monitor the ICM is running or not. Yes, green, it is running here. So how it is handling the threads and everything here, right? So and also if you can check the logs also, there is a trace file. Go to trace file. Just if you open this trace file, here we can monitor so how the connections are coming, how the connections are handling. So like that we can monitor the logs here. Here we can check the ICM logs and everything. If any errors, the port is deactivated or something is deactivated, something is not working, then we can find out the error messages in the ICM trace file here. In the ICM trace file, so you can find out here. ICM trace file we can find out from here, right? Suppose if you want to restart, sometimes you may have to restart the services here. Here main things you should remember is the trace file and services port numbers. Always this port number should be active status here, right? Then only ICM will handle the browser based request here. Then in the administration page, so restarting the ICM, either the soft shutdown or hard shutdown. Soft means it will wait for until user completes the all the transactions in the browser, then it will restart it here. That is the soft cancel here, soft cancel here. Then ICM will restart it here, existing connection. So ICM will wait until user completes the or close the connections in the browser, then it will restart it here. Then it is the hard shutdown means immediately within minutes, whether users are available logging, immediately ICM forcefully hard shutdown, hardly it will go down, here. So sometimes we may choose this one, sometimes we may choose this one as well, right? So it depends upon the, so that time depends upon the issue. We may have to choose this functionality here. Okay. Here trace file, the services and ICM restart. Not only every day we will go to restart it, only exception cases. Sometimes what happens, your users will not connect to your SAP system via browser, via their URLs. So that time we may have to come up the situation like restart the ICM process. ICM process will go hung status here sometimes. So that time we may have to restart the ICM. We may have to do the ICM restart here. So that is the main thing of the ICM here. Okay. So here every site, if you go to the everywhere, you will get the sub services means the backend, their sub services are active. Then only we are able to pull the data from the your backend systems here. That is the main thing of the SMICM, right? So here SMICM we can monitor all these things, and SICF, the service activation has to perform. The service activation has to perform in the SICF transaction code here. SICF. Any service, suppose either the standard functionalities or custom functionalities. Custom means your developer has to develop that one. Your developer has to develop that functionality. Then only you can log in. Then only you can log in from. So you can log in here. Then only you can log in here. Okay. So that is the SICF and SMICM. Sometimes they don't want to use functionality. They will ask you to deactivate the service. Then select it. Then deactivate the service. Sometimes they may ask you to activate the service. You can activate the service also. Okay. This is our responsibility to activate or deactivate the test the services here, whether service is working or not here. So sometimes the GRC team, they require the NWBC. NWBC is the service, NetWeaver business client here. So they will ask you to activate the service. Then click on the activate the service. See here, I'm activating the service here. Then service is activated here, right? Previously it is not activated. Now it is activated. Then they will ask you to test the URL here. Now when you open the here the logon prompt is coming here. Here logon prompt is coming here. Just train the user.
How can we know that service name?
Here there is a lakhs of service are there. Only few service are it's very important. That is called the web GUI, NWBC. So these two are very important. You can remember these two services. Okay. So whether normally depends upon the situation, the functional or development team, they will ask you to open the some HR services. That time they will provide you the HR services to you. Then just you can get the service, then go to the SICF, then activate it here. Go to the SICF, then activate the service here. That is what we have to do it. Okay, but this web GUI and normally use cases here, everybody will use it this one, so that you can remember these two services. Okay, this is called the SMICM, SICF here, right? So the next one is called the SCOT transaction code, SCOT administration. So this is for the email configurations, inbound. So SAP to the receivers for sending the emails, attachments. So from SAP. So this is called the type of configuration we have to perform in the here. That type of configuration we have to perform in the SCOT administration. In the SCOT administration, so we have to perform these configurations and everything here, right? SCOT. Here we have to perform the mailbox configurations, So receiver emails, so sending the emails to the receiver, recipients. So that kind of configurations we have to perform here. The purpose of this configuration is sending the emails from SAP to the recipients. Recipients means receiver email ID. Recipient's email ID, we have to do that one. So to perform this one, SCOT configuration, which means we go to the here outbound email configuration. This is called the outbound email configuration. Outbound email configuration here. Outbound. So email configurations, first of all, we have to perform it here. Configurations first we have to perform in our systems. Configurations. So once you perform the configuration one-time activity, then the next time, so automatically the emails will go from SAP to recipients here. SAP to recipients, the emails will go here, right? So suppose as soon as your transaction is completed, then users will receive the email with attachments, right? So as soon as your work is completed, or as soon as background job is completed here, users will receive the confirmation email or PO invoice email, acknowledgement, all those things we will get it out, right? So how you will get from the system here? So one-time configuration we will perform in the system here, right? Suppose like the SMTP configuration here. The step, first of all, in the profile, the SMTP ports should be active here. The ports should be active in the system here. The ports. So the first of all, so SMTP, the SMTP port should be active. SMTP port should be active here. SMTP port should be active in SAP SMICM. In SMICM, the port should be active here. As we discussed, right? The ports. So here for email configuration also, there is a port configuration here in SMICM here. If we go to the SMICM here, services here, the port should be active here. Any port you can configure it. Normally, the port will come up with the 25. 25 is the default port number, right? It will come with the default. 80 is the HTTP port number. 443 is the HTTPS port number. Normally, SAP standards port number. These are all the standards port number here. So the ports should be active in SMICM here. Then SMTP node activation. SMTP node activation we have to perform in the SMTP node activation we have to perform in the systems here. SMTP node activation we have to perform in the system here. For this one, you need to go to the SCOT transaction code. The SCOT, this is the SCOT transaction code here. SCOT SMTP node we have to activate. By default, it is not activated. It is the deleted status here. By default, it is deleted here. Means it's not enabled here. Then in this case, the node you need to activate. That node is called the node we have to activate here. The node that is called the SMTP node we have to activate. Okay. SMTP node we have to activate here. Just a description. So mail server host here. The main thing is here, yeah. So mail server host here. Mail server host here. The server host we have to provide it here. The server host we have to provide it here. The mailbox server. Every organization there is a mailbox server, right? So that mail server host we have to provide it here. For here we don't have anything here. That's why. So maybe we can just use the one common smtp.com. Maybe that is the common port. That's one, just general. Then port number 25. That is I am using here. So just click on the OK button. So you need internet kind of things here, right? What is the address area? From which address you want to send the emails to the your recipients here. So here you need to define the address here. If you put the star here, so all the receivers will get it. Gmail receivers, public receivers, or company domain receivers. No, you don't want to receive only company domains. You have to receive it here. Then in this case, so star dot, then at the rate of, not the dot, star at the rate of maybe some gmail.com. If you use the gmail.com, only the Gmail users will get the emails from the SAP here. Now in the Mahbub's example, if you type the address area like so mycompany.com, then only my company users will get the all the receivers and everything here. Instead of defining everything, if you put the star, everybody will get the emails from the your SAP system here, right? So this is the common. Click on the next button. So click on the continue. So there is a job actually here. So there is a job, FMTP job here. So there is a SCOT, there is a SAP Connect job here. So as soon as the emails are generated, then this job will send the emails to the recipients here. So that will happen every 5 minutes or every 10 minutes, that we have to define it here. Every 5 minutes, the job will run automatically. The job will send the emails to the recipients here. So like that, every 5 minutes you put here, right? So maximum waiting time to repeat or attempt the procedure here, right? 5 minutes. If you want to change it to the here, you can maximum 5 minutes or 10 minutes, the people will put here, right? Just click on the so OK button. Then you can see my SMTP server has been enabled here. SMTP connection server I have enabled here, right? So there is a job also will be created here. There is a job also is created for this one. So that is called the SAP Connect job. So these are the settings we created now. These are the settings we created in the system here, right? So here the domain in the settings tab, the default domain is important here. So default domain is important here. So let me log into the 100 client here. I have not logged into the 100 client. 600 client I logged in instead of every time changing.
Ravi, is it a client specific settings or it's a system wide? This configuration.
It's a client. It's a client specific settings. These all are. So 600 client, you have the different settings. Now you can see. So it's a I'm in the 100 client. You have the different settings. It's a kind of client specific settings here. Client specific settings here. Someone created the SMTP 14. What is this mean? Maybe our guys are created, I guess. Okay. Every 5 minutes they are defined. They have given the Google mailbox host name is called the google.com. What is it? This is wrong. Okay. Let me disable this one. Wrong this one. So this is mandatory. This is mandatory to receive the emails from the SAP here. One is the SMTP port should be activate, and then SMTP node activation and configurations. So ports, we know the port is the default for so for the port is the default for the so everything here. The port is the default for the this one here, right? The port is the default for here. So then you can go with the SMTP node activation here, SMTP node. Then So here you can just activate the node here. Just you can activate the node here. Just click on the node. Node name means the node means here. Okay. So here what you have to do here SMTP node SMTP. The node name should be the SMTP here. Just type the outbound email configuration to understand the everything. Okay. So here mailbox host. Normally, if you ask your network team or your IT team, they will provide you the mailbox host name, mailbox server name, where we will get the emails, Outlook emails and everything here. So there, just go to the Gmail dot. Maybe I am giving this one example here. Okay. So the port number is the 25 here. Just click on the continue. It's a internet really, not the facts and everything. Address area, I will keep it like star. Why? Because all the receivers should get the emails here, right? So then the job, there is a job which will which will which will send the email to the recipients here. So the job should run, that is called the SAP connect job here. So every 5 minutes the job should run, so that whatever the emails are stuck or something, then immediately so the receivers should get the emails here. The receivers should get the emails here. So those things I have set up here. Then one more thing is, as part of the configuration here, the domain setting here, the domain setting here, the domain setting here. We have to set up the domain here. So what happens? Domain means example this one dot. So Adani.com, Ambani.com, suppose like example, now I will tell you my company name dot my company.com, right? So if you type this one, so the email address, all email address will end with the at the rate of my company.com something, right? This is the domain. This is the domain.com. So this is the default domain. It will be used for that domain. Only default domain. Like that, your company.com, my company.com, like that, you have set up the domain. The domain setup, the default domain setup, and the node activation and SMTP. There is a job, a SCOT job here. If you go to the SM37, there is a SAP connect job here. So then this should be active status here. This should be active status here, right? This should be active status here. So whenever any email generated, so this job will send the emails. This job will send the emails here. This is the scheduled status here. See here, every 10 minutes. It's already by some scheduled by someone. Already they are scheduled. So every 10 minutes it is running here, right? So whenever any email generated, this will schedule it here. This will run here. So the frequency, mailbox, host number. So this one we have to use it here. This one we have to create it here. Then so if we go to SCOT transaction code here, you can see this is the one we are doing here. Outbound messages means going the mails to the your recipients from SAP. So SMTP node we have activated, configuration we have done it here, the domain name you have created here. So that's it. So disclosures, nothing is there. No, we don't need touch here anything here, right? See a job, the SCOT job, 10 jobs here. The jobs you have to create it here. So that I mentioned, right? SAP connect the job here. The job you have to create it here. So you want to send all the addresses here, all the addresses to the send here. Then just to click on the continue. So every 10 minutes it is running here. Just click on the save button. So the job is released status here. So it will run every 10 minutes here. Every 10 minutes it will run instead of 5 minutes. Every 10 minutes I have done. So SAP connect job, then SMTP node activation, configurations we have to perform in the system here. Some system here. Then so you just then once you've done this one, in SICF, there is a service, SCOT, SAP SCOT. So SAP Connect. So this one should be active status. This one should be active status here, right? So these are the configuration things here. SMTP port should be active. in SMICM, then SICF, so SAP, so SCOT, SAP service. What is the service name? SAP Connect. Yeah, SAP Connect service should be active. Then SMTP node activation and configuration. Then job, SAP Connect job scheduling, SAP Connect job scheduling here, SAP Connect job scheduling here. So then these things we have to send it, these things we have to perform it here. So where can we monitor this configuration and everything we have to perform in the SCOT transaction code? This is the outbound email configuration. There is a inbound emails also, but for now we will concentrate on the outbound emails configuration. So to monitor this messages, we have to go to the SOST. SOST is the transaction code. There we can monitor all the messages here, how the messages are flowing to the respective system here. Today there are no messages went, nothing is failed, nothing is went here, nothing is created here. Just to remove the dates, then you can just click on the refresh. See anything, nothing is there here. So maybe just check the transmitted messages. So nothing is there here. So no messages, nothing is went. So we are safe. But how to send? So normally, as soon as your job completed or something, functional jobs or functional team, they will take care of. Our duty is mailbox configurations, email server configurations, SCOT enabling, SCOT disabling, so ports whether activated or not, the job is running or not. Those are our responsibility. In SM37, SAP Connect job is running or not. So the service is active or not. So, and the port should be active in the SMICM. If these all are working, definitely the node is active. Then these 4 steps are fine. Then definitely emails will go. Sir, how can we send the sample email here? So every user, SAP provided there is a, so SBWP is the transaction code, SAP business workspace, SAP business workspace here, which means every user, there is a same as like Outlook, how you will get the workspace, inbox, outbox, sent items, receivers, how you will get the for your email box, Outlook, same as like in the every user, there is a separate inbox, separate outbox, right? Receiver, private folders, all those things here. So here you will get all those things here. The mails are which are coming to the inside of the SAP, you will get the documents here. That is the inbound configuration. So here also we can just send the new message you can send from the SAP here. New message we can send to the SAP here. Just click on the new message here. Then, right? So title of the message, I mean subject line, the mail subject line here, the text message here, document, some what you want to send here. Just example message you are sending. Who is the recipients here? So you given the star, here. Then let me send it to you, my email box here. Right? So it's a internet. It's a internet address here. It's a internet. It's not the X4. Internet address here. What is that? Internet address. This is the internet. So this is the send express. This is the send as a copy. You will also get the acknowledgement here. You want to send the BCC also, right? That time you can put it here. Then, so you've meant that if you want to add any attachments here, you can create the attachments here. Then just you can send the message here, right? Then this message will go to the respective person, whoever you sent it, that the message will send to the respective person here. When that person will check, he will get the email from your SAP system. But how can I monitor whether my SAP, how can I monitor here? How can I monitor here? See, one time the message sent, the job is executing now. The job is SAP Connect job is executing. So the job will send the emails. This job will send the emails here. This job will send the emails here. So SAP Connect job here. Then only if you go and check in the SOST, you will see the one message here. You will see the previously we don't have any messages here. Now you see the one message, text message got stuck here. It is waiting. It is waiting to send it here. It is waiting to job to run it now. So if you want to send manually, you can send it here. You can also send the job ad hoc run. Maybe if you run the job also, that will send it here. So see here, that is temporary one message sent, but it's a temporary error. We may get it out. Error, we may get it out from the SAP. Definitely, we will get the error here. Temporary error here. So because there is no mail server, nothing is there. So definitely it will fail. Definitely it will fail it here. Right? Definitely it will fail here. So you can see the error message here. So message cannot currently be transferred the node due to the connection error. Why? Because there is no that mailbox server. That is which one which is I sent in the SCOT transaction. The SCOT transaction. So this is not the correct one. This is not the correct one. This should be the correct actually. Then only now if I check my email, my Gmail, I will receive the email from the SAP system, but I will not receive. Why? Because the message is not went from the SAP due to this mailbox post is wrong. So that is the reason all the messages from SAP will stuck from here in this inbox. In this inbox, it will stuck here. In this stuck here. So one is waiting. It will stuck here. It won't go. That is what will happen in the system now. We send any number of messages, everything will stuck here. So here in the business workspace, you can send the one sample test messages. You can just appoint the calendar. Same as like how we have the SAP normally calendars, meetings, invites, everything. Also we can use it from the SAP also. We can use this one for appointment, for calendars, all those things we can use it from the SAP. So what is the appointment? Is recurrence period, public, so visibility, description, meeting, how we can send the meeting invites. Same like from we can send it the calendars. So you have any inbox, any unread documents are available, approvals, any documents, any overdue entries. So anything is there, it will come real time. You will get the entries here. When the people are using the workflow, that time in real time you will get the things here. Here we don't have much entries here. So that's why you won't get anything here, right? So that is the way here we can monitor all those things here. Here we can monitor all the information and everything. We can monitor from here, SAP Business Workspace. So in the outbox, you have one mail item is stuck here, right? Still sending here. It's not went. Still it is sending mode only. So we can delete it. We can create it. Whatever you want, we can do it from here, right? This is the SAP Business Workspace here. So in the SCOT, just only configuration, one-time configuration. Then after that, we never touch in this configuration. Only one-time configuration we have to perform. The two, they will provide you the information. What is the mailbox server, mailbox port number, and everything here. But the service activations, this configuration, basis responsibility.
What is the exact use of the domain registration here in settings?
Domain is your company domain name. You have to put it here. Company domain name. Company domain means you are working for the XYZ company. Your company domain name is some at the rate of xyz.co.in, right? The domain name we have to send it here. Otherwise, so unnecessarily it will send the emails to the outside of the recipients, outside of the domain, some other things also. Why? Because your mailbox server is dedicated to only your company, right? Your mailbox server is dedicated to your company only. Your company means your company has one domain, right? Every company has domain. Suppose if I tell my domain is mycompany.com, Gmail is the google.com is the domain, right? Same every company there is a one domain here. So that domain name we have to put it here. Then it will use the by default domain to send this mailbox server. It will send the messages to your company. Some people they may put the star.com. It's a depends. So some company, no, this is my mailbox server. Only my users, my company users should only receive the emails. Then in this case, they will put the restrictions in the default domain field.
Who will be managing this SMTP server in real time actually?
SMTP details, IT team, their IT team, they will manage the SMTP servers and their details here. Then we have to ask them to please provide the SMTP server host name or IP address. Why? Because we have to configure from SAP side. So they will provide you the details.
And
So,
how we can check whether the port is open or not
They will provide,
between?
we have to ask them. We have to ask them. They will provide you the details. Okay, SMTP server means, so you have to configure this port. They will tell you the port number. So then we can just use that port number in our cases, or in our case we have to use this is the common generic port number. So they will use the generic port number only. 25 is the generic port number. They will use the 25 only. Maybe your company following the special policies, they are having the some 2502 or something like that. You can also configure the 2502 here.
sir, is this domain name which you said, does this come in the stage when we were installing the SAP, the DNS? You said do not
Yeah. DNS means domain name server, right? That is the one domain name service. That is the domain name. Every company has one domain name, right? So suppose if I take the IRCTC, irctc.co.in is the domain name here. IRCTC. This is the domain name here for IRCTC. Google.com.
implementation, the team will enter the company's domain name, right, in the DNS.
Right. In the real time, so every company has the domain, so they will enter the domain name here.
All right.
As you are saying, outbounding means we are sending the mails. Okay. But as per the inbounding means there is a restriction coming from the outside now. There is also one of
There is also, we have the restrictions here. So in the mailbox server, we have the restrictions here, which are coming inside of the system. So for now, I discussed only outbound email configurations. For inbound also, there is a specific configuration. That is also, we have to perform here. Just outbound configuration. So we have inbound mail configuration also here, inbound mail configuration. So here we need to do the settings also here, inbound mail configurations here. So inbound processing, so inbound job here. So all kind of inbound recipients address here. So all this comes from here also we can do the restrictions. So any configuration, outbound configurations or inbound configurations, we have to do the restrictions here. So if you think your companies will use that or not, sometimes companies it won't use the inbound configurations. No one use the inbound configuration. Only outbound, which are going outside of the SAP system. Only rare cases, few customers, they will use the inbound messages. Why? Because if you send from your mailbox to SAP, then SAP will receive the emails here. That is only few people, they will use that.
I think HR departments will use.
Yeah, few people. Why? Because that will be stored in the database level. One is the inflow, outbox to, suppose example, here, this is your mailbox. This is the SAP. Here you can send to the SAP. This is the incoming emails from your Outlook to just take the new and send it to the SAP here, or one email ID, then you can send to the SAP here. So sometimes the person required the email. As soon as in the SAP level one transaction is happened, the recipients will get the emails with attachments. He will get the emails. So those things. So it is common. This is common. This flow is common here. This is the outbound. This is the out, which are going out from SAP. This is the inbound, which are coming into the SAP. So incoming to the SAP, out, which are going outside of the SAP here, inbound and outbound here. So this is the one, outbound, out, which are going out here. Okay. So here this configuration maximum everybody will use it here only for production systems. Non-production, they won't use these configurations. Only production, maybe development, they will use it. So because production, normally users will do the transactions in the production systems only. As soon as they done the maybe order booking, ticket booking, we will receive the emails. That type of configurations this year in the SMTP, we will perform it here. The SCOT is the one where we can do the administration work here, like outbound email configurations, mail server.
So in SOST, we can't see inbound, right?
No, SOST is that SOIN is the inbound. SOIN is the inbound here, inbound request here.
Okay.
So SOST, SOST, let me write it here, SOST, outbound emails. Then SOIN, that is called the inbound emails. Inbound emails. SOIN, SOST. And what is the naming they have mentioned? Nothing. Inbound, okay? Just inbound. This is the outbound, which are coming in. Just remember the transaction code. That's it. So no one asked detailed information on this one. Why? Because it's one-time setup, right? So no one asked on this one.
Ravi, also I have one question on SMICM.
Right.
So whenever you are using the URL, it is using the sub services as well.
Right.
So in the URL, it was showing SAP Windows and the port number, but in real time, it will be FQDN will be there, right?
Right. Here, the
So
fully qualified domain, they will use it sometimes.
yes. So who will be maintaining those changes like FQDN? Is it our
IT
SAP
team.
basis?
IT team will take care of the network routing and everything. Network team and IT teams. How we are working in the application side, network side also, which connection should allow inside of the our network, which connection should outside of the network. So they will take care of this one. Sometimes, suppose if you see here, example, my network I'm showing here. So you are in the my network. Within my server, within my network here, within my network zone you are connected, you can access anything, my SAP related things, anything you can access it. But so anything you can access my SAP related things, anything you can access from here. Suppose if you use my URL, same URL outside of the network, maybe outside of the network, if you use it, so outside of the network, if you use it, it won't work, right? So within my URL, even I am not in the server also. I am closing my server also here. So I can open this small my URLs. I can open. Why? Because my laptop or my server, everything in the same network. Suppose if I use the same URL in my mobile phone, I will disconnect the Wi-Fi. If you try to use in my let's stop the record.